What's going on, guys? Gomer's here and we're back on another video. Now, a lot of you, this is going to be shocking, like learning the Tooth Fairy isn't real. MLB The Show has a franchise mode, I know. Shocking, right? You would hardly think so because there's been no significant upgrades in approximately 4 years. I would add an F-bomb on there, but we're not past the 30-second mark, and January CPM hurts about as much as it hurts year in and year out, seeing constant live stream schedules, seeing franchise additions, franchise changes, and alas, nothing. Hairball there, apparently. Nothing happens. You know, they never add anything actual into franchise mode. They just spoon feed a few things into March to October as if any of us give a shit. So today I want to talk about how we can hopefully fix the ever-growing problem of voice cracks at the age of 20 years old, but also that we can fix MLB The Show franchise. So everyone gather around. Join me and join the countless others on Twitter constantly pushing for this movement to get changes to the game mode that originally interested me in MLB The Show back in 2009, 2003 or 4, if you count MLB 2004 when that game came out, before MLB The Show is even a thing. Let's do it. Oh, leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Be appreciated. So where do we start here? I'm going to group everything into a couple different pods. So let's talk about non-negotiables that quite literally have to be updated into MLB The Show 21, in Gomer's opinion, and most opinions. League expansion. This is a big one that we've been calling for quite some time. It is a big part in sports today. We've seen 2 new hockey franchises within the last, 4 years, being Las Vegas and Seattle get new franchises. We've seen the NFL talk about expanding. The NBA seems like they're only a couple years from an announcement. So does the MLB. This is a very prevalent thing. You know, revenue is very high across these leagues, and there's more cities deserving and that could theoretically fund and operate a baseball franchise. So why can't we expand the league from 30 to even 32 or 34 in MLB The Show? You added the ability to create custom teams, which is, a little lackluster, I will admit. It still doesn't feel real, right? That's another thing with Create a Stadium. I thought, okay, now the custom teams that they introduced back in MLB 20, that's going to mean something, right? No. You can't have any billboards or that sort of shit in your stadium, so it still seems like you're just hijacking a different team's stadium. There's no identity. Please change that. We don't necessarily need to have the ability to create it online like 2K, so we're going to have... Jesus, can I say that? The hub advertisements within the game, but good lord, have us at least be able to have our logo in our stadium so it seems like we're at home when we have home games. Doesn't that make sense? Also, give us options for alternate uniforms. I'm tired of having 2 options. Good lord. So that league expansion is very important. Fixing trade and contract logic. If I will tell you something, you would think the Rockies front office is the one who develops this game, because it's on the same level of sanity. You know, they have the same thought process. What kind of dumbass, asinine decision can we make? And it translates to MLB The Show. We'll throw up a couple here. I had a trade where Shohei Ohtani got traded for absolutely nothing. Catching prospect Corey Lee. Have you heard of him? I didn't think so. You've probably heard of Shohei Ohtani, and he's shipped off to Houston. Countless examples of this persist. Of take a big name star with a potential, even a great contract situation, and he's fed to the Sharks, thrown to not only a contender. That'd be one thing if it was like Ohtani gets traded to the Yankees. I know all the 27 ringers are just spewing with ecstasy thinking about that possibility there. But it'll be a team to like the Pirates. They'll trade for Mike Trout. It makes no sense on both fronts, so it's really annoying. And then contracts. I know RGS, if you guys are big into franchise, of course, you're going to know one of the titans in that field, which will show a couple clips of something that he pointed out a little bit later, where we have Carlos Correa going for very minuscule price. Ridiculous. Signing way too few years and for way too little money. We just saw what kind of deals these players are getting. Like with Corey Seager, with Marcus Semien, with Francisco Lindor, before the season even started, $300+ million for 10+ year deals. You have the option of doing that at the game, but it never happens. Although that's what happens in real life. So maybe the devs need to touch grass and get in tune with reality here, because they have no idea the landscape that professional baseball is currently in today, and it is quite frustrating. So that is another thing that has to be addressed. More customization. This is egregious, and this is where I think 2K really hits it home, because they have so many different options of sliders that you could adjust to really play out different effects within your season. If you guys follow 2K at all, you're going to know King of the Fourth Quarter, Kenny. Just watch some of his videos. A lot of it is really crazy shit that you don't need necessarily, but it's fun. Is that not what a video game is supposed to do? Or is fun collecting pixelated animated jerseys and exchanging them for immortal cards in a Diamond Dynasty game mode, right? That's something that content creators would look at and actually make videos of. You say, oh, Gomer, why do you care? I don't see any franchise uploads on your channel. What the fuck am I supposed to make a video of? I could do a rebuild. I could do a couple of those, but look at guys like Ant Ortiz and RGS, like we said. There's only so many rebuilds that you can do, and they have to grasp at straws for any potential content there. I'm sweating getting this intense. So you can tell that I care. Season length is another one. We used to have these things. You could choose to do a 29-game season where you have one game against every other team. Not everybody has time to play a 162-game season, so they're forced to, well, I'll play this matchup, I'll simulate till here. Oh shit, now Jose Tabata, random name. Now he, I don't know, got benched or something, so I can't have him grind towards 120 hits, a new career high. So it's frustrating. You would want to have that feature. Season length would be a big one. Custom rules as well. We have the option of DH or no, an extra inning base runner or no. That's it. Why not give us some more customization, right? Why not give us some different options? Rule changes. Now, this might be something to do with MLB. That could be the case. I know we used to have fights in baseball games, remember? You plunk the batter a couple times in, and they will charge the mound. And I think MLB told the video game companies they had to take that out. That's why we don't see it anymore. So if that's the case, sure. But if it's not, then that's just laziness, pure and simple. So rule changes would be nice to see. Different sliders, we have a fair amount. But as far as league changing, nothing really happens. If you change the CPU power, if you simulate, I don't think that does anything, or at least not through my experiments. The only league changing ones that you have is injuries and trades. That's all you have. Why can't you have different sliders to set the league to be very progressive when it comes to overalls, or old guys are going to regress sooner, that sort of thing? Give us options. It's not hard necessarily if you actually give a damn. So those are some non-negotiables. Some other things I want to see, or no, deeper ownership system. That is a non-negotiable. My apologies. Again, this is an RGS clip from MLB The Show 11. He went back and played that. My favorite MLB The Show game of all time, may I add, and for good reason. I counted so many hours into this game, and I never played Diamond Dynasty. I was playing franchise. I remember I had a Diamondbacks franchise with the 2011 team that went throughout an entire season plus. Doing that when you're a kid is a pretty big feat. It took me a long time, but franchise was fun and engaging. You can do things such as setting how much a corn dog is going to be. So you could have it be $9, but nobody's going to buy it and fans are going to be pissed, but you'd be making a little bit more profit. So, be Mr. Krabs, be Stuart Sternberg, and just be a bitch when it comes to money, or be, more on the friendly side and have that customization. Choose Well, the team's doing well. Let's add more seats. Everybody wants to come to our games. They're always sellouts. I can make more money and thus afford better players that way. It's almost as if that's the way baseball operates, with no salary cap system. But there's no sense of ownership whatsoever. You sign a general manager contract, and I guess that's their cop-out. You're a GM. You're not an owner, so you don't have control of that stuff. You could choose what transportation the team rolled up in. If you want them to all be pissed off, but you save a few bucks, have them ride the local bus to the stadium. Or if you're, making buku bucks like the Yankees, fly a private jet to the game. You have these options. It's fun. It makes it like a different sort of game, not just a baseball game. It's almost like the Roller Coaster Tycoons or Sims. I haven't played Sims, but that's probably what it's like, right? So those are a couple things that would be great. You could schedule promotions, bobblehead day. You could schedule, nowadays, you could schedule Mike Trout bobblehead night and maybe increase attendance. It'll be fun. You could have giveaways, that sort of thing. It's cool. It's stuff you can't do anymore because they just took it out of the game for God knows what reason. Now we'll move on to some things that I would like to see. The ability to equip quirks to players. Now, if you guys play Diamond Dynasty, you probably know what quirks are. Some of them are just relaying the information like, oh, Aaron Judge, hits for power, so he has this quirk. Like, no shit, I have eyes, right? If I could see his power rating, I could probably tell, he's going to hit home runs. I don't need a quirk to tell me that. But there are ones that do affect gameplay, such as dead red. Your PCI is going to be bigger on fastballs. Now, if they also made this so it would affect simulation, that's where you get interesting. That could be really cool. You think of different like X Factors or whatever it is on Madden. It would be kind of in that same vein where it would differentiate the players. That's something I've been calling for years. Something to change up players other than just a different swing and a different name. Because in its entirety, that's all it is. Favoritism towards what name you like better. Oh, I'm a Twins fan, so of course I'm going to pick Buxton over... what's a comparable player? Trout? Good Lord, make that comparison? Sure. If they have the same attributes, of course, which, who knows? Maybe in 2022 they will. Maybe Buxton's going to go off and play 80 games. We'll have to see. Time will tell. But, that would be fun to see. You could equip quirks to players because that doesn't happen. You just have to hope, Yahtzee roll that, thank God, my up-and-coming prospect that I scouted has quirks that are going to help him out. So that would be nice to see as well. A better progression and regression system. It's terrible right now. Again, I've seen on Twitter simulations. Somebody did an A-Rod career re-simulation, and he was regressing by late 20s. He wasn't even 30 yet. He had 99 potential, the same attributes you'd expect from rookie A-Rod 5-tool player. No needle in his arm quite yet, so maybe that was the reason why. But, it was ridiculous. And then you'll see on the other end of the spectrum, I get it, Nelson Cruz is an anomaly, but anybody, if they turn 33, regression. They suck now. They're just too old to compete, quite frankly, when in the day of modern medicine and science, that's not the case. Guys can play a bit longer, as we've seen. Not everybody, but again, you would at least like that ability to see that change. Or if nothing else, if Nelson Cruz has an 1,000 OPS, that he doesn't regress to a 60 overall and nobody wants him the next year. What fucking sense does that make, SDS? None. I answered it for you. And then miscellaneous, two-way player logic. You made it a big point these last 2 years, ever since the surgence of Shohei Ohtani. Why does he only hit 250, 300 times in a season? Why does he only get that many at-bats? Fix your own system that you implemented. He's probably going to be the cover of MLB The Show 22. You better get this shit done and actually pay respect to him. If he's a two-way player and does both, and this is not injured either, they just don't know how this game works, and it's frustrating. Again, I am dripping with sweat right now. Perhaps it's because the heater's on like 80 degrees. It's rather cold in Minnesota today. But that's pretty much going to wrap this one up. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions for franchise mode. MLB The Show 22. We are, hopefully, one can hope, like 2 weeks max away from news. And maybe they're going to drop a bombshell. Maybe they're going to drop the ball like we've seen the last few years. We'll see. But hope you guys have a great day. Thank you. Out. Yeet.